Dear students, good morning. I am Yogesh Chand Sharma, English PGT from RPS Beirut. So today we will start with the topic conjunction. Okay. First of all, understand what does conjunction mean. Conjunction is a structure word which joins any two units of grammar or language. Now the question is, what are the units? There are 5 units in grammar: one sentence, second clause, third phrase, fourth word, and fifth morpheme. Means out of these 5 elements, or out of these 5 units, any units are required, okay, for conjunction. Got the point? Conjunction is a structure word which joins any two units of grammar or language. Sentence. A sentence is an English structure which consists of 5 elements like S, V, O, C, A. Alright. These are the 5 units, or they are the 5 elements. Okay. S, V, O, C, A in the sense: S for subject, V for verb, O for object, C for complement, or A for adverb or adverbial phrase, or we can say adjunct, out of which two are compulsory. For making a sentence, out of these 5 elements, any 2 elements are compulsory. And a sentence consists of one or more clauses. Sentence also contain one or more clauses, but it must have a complete sense. Got the point? A sentence consists of one or more clauses, but it must have a complete sense. Clause. A clause is also an English structure which may consist of 5 elements like S, V, O, C, A, out of which two S or V, with subject and verb, are compulsory. Again, for clause, 2 elements out of 5, subject, verb, object, complement, adverbial, 2 elements are compulsory like subject and verb. A clause may be the part of a large sentence, but it must have only one finite verb. So in a large sentence, there is one finite verb. Dear children, there are two kinds of verb: finite verb or non-finite verb. Finite verb in the sense, it cannot be changed present into past or past into present. So you can see here this example: sitting on the roof. So here this verb cannot be changed, isn't it? This is what? This verb is the non-finite verb. If it can be changed like present into past, was were into is/am, then this verb will be finite. So a clause may be the part of a large sentence, but it must have only one finite verb. A clause may be dependent or independent. Okay. Clause may be dependent, means one clause depend upon the dependent, it is not independent, or independent in the sense it does not depend. Next is phrase. We have seen sentence and then clause, and then third unit in grammar is phrase. A phrase is meaningful group of words which has no verb at all, or which has a non-finite verb. As I told you, sitting is non-finite verb because it cannot be changed in any other form. Means present form cannot be changed into past or past into present. If a verb cannot be changed present into past or past into present, that is called non-finite verb. So example is, sitting on the roof, they were throwing stones at the birds. So this is an example of the phrase. That is the whole phrase, sitting on the roof. Okay, children. Now come to fourth unit, that is word. A sound or a letter or a combination of sounds, letters that expresses a meaning and forms an independent vocabulary of a language is known as a word. For example, a book. A book is an example of word. Now come to the fifth unit of the grammar, morpheme. Morpheme is the smallest meaningful unit of grammar or languages into which a word can be divided. For example, unfriendly. Unfriendly, in this word actually, friend, F-R-I-E-N-D. Friend is the root word. In this friend, un is added, prefix. Alright? Un prefix that provides opposite meaning of friend. Isn't it? Unfriend. Or in this root word, ly is added. Unfriendly, friend, or ly, friendly, ly in the sense it becomes adjective, isn't it? So unfriendly. So sorry, it becomes adverb, not adjective. So in such a manner you can see about the morpheme. Morpheme is the smallest meaningful unit of grammar. Smallest, like we add an in friend. Friend is the root word. So that is the smallest unit, morpheme. In the same, this is what we call it prefix. Okay, and in suffix, what we end in the end of the root word, that is ly. It becomes adverb, isn't it? The whole word is unfriendly. So what is morpheme in this word, un or ly? Got the point? Even it gives the meaning. As I told you, when we add un in friend, it gives meaning of negative. When we add ly in the root word, then it gives the sense of adverb. Isn't it? So this is what it is called, morpheme. Conjunction actually divided into two parts: coordinating conjunction or subordinating conjunction. Now understand it. Coordinating. A conjunction which joins any two equal units is known as a coordinating conjunction. Two equal units in the sense two independent unit. Okay, means one unit does not depend upon the other. This is what, okay, it is called coordinating conjunction. I repeat once again, understand these terms, okay, before solving the examples of the conjunction. Going through these terms or comprehension of these terms are very imperative, children. See, coordinating, a conjunction which joins any two equal units, two independent units is known as a coordinating conjunction. In other words, a conjunction which joins an independent unit, as I told you. Okay, a conjunction which joins an independent unit with another independent unit is known as is known as a coordinating conjunction. Now come to subordinating conjunction. A conjunction which joins any two or more than two unequal units. Unequal units in the sense one dependent unit or another independent unit. Alright, in coordinating there were two equal units, but in subordinating there are two unequal units. Unequal in the sense one unit is dependent or the another one is independent. Alright, means one depends upon other, is known as a subordinating conjunctions. In other words, a word which joins an independent unit with dependent unit, as I told you, is known as subordinating conjunction. Dear children, you can understand it by the example, by the help of the example. For example, I went to Agra and saw the Taj Mahal. Actually, in this example, we can see that there are two units. One, I went to Agra. This is independent sentence. Another independent sentence is I saw the Taj Mahal. Means one part of the sentence does not depend upon the another part of the sentence. I went to Agra does not depend upon the saw the Taj Mahal, or I saw the Taj Mahal, it does not depend upon I went to Agra. This is what it is called. It is an example of coordinating conjunction, because in coordinating conjunction there are two equal units. They are two equal, means they both are independent sentences. They are joined by the help of the and. This is what this sentence or these two units are joined by the help of the and. It is an example of conjunction, isn't it? So many other examples you will be given in the PDF. You may learn from there. But now understand these terms. Okay, understanding these terms are very necessary. You can see when two equal units are joined by and, this is an example of compound sentence also. Alright, if these two units could have been, or they might have joined by two unequal units, then it would have been complex sentence, not compound, isn't it? It is an example of compound because two equal units are joined by the help of the and. Alright. Another example you may see, I went to Agra because I wanted to see the Taj Mahal. So actually this is an example. It has two unequal units. Why unequal units? Because one depend upon another. They are not two independent sentences. See, I went to Agra. Why you went to Agra? The reason is because I wanted to see. It means one part of the sentence depends upon the another part. Before the conjunction because is used, isn't it? So this is an example of subordinating or subordinate conjunction. Alright, as I told you, when two unequal units are joined, then this is an example of complex sentence. Now understand what is compound sentence and what is complex sentence. A sentence which has two or more than two independent clauses is called a compound sentence. Got the point? A sentence which has two or more than two independent clauses, independent, is called a compound sentence. Independent clauses we already have seen in the previous example. I went to Agra and I saw the Taj Mahal. And saw the Taj in the sense I saw the Taj Mahal. They both are two independent units. Okay, children? And now come to complex sentence. A sentence which has two or more than two clauses of an unequal level. Unequal level in the sense one depend upon the another is a complex sentence. Again, we already have seen an example of complex sentence, isn't it? Complex sentence. I went to Agra because I wanted to see the Taj Mahal. Means neither I went to Agra independent nor I wanted to see the Taj Mahal independent. Therefore, it is called subordinate conjunction, or it comes under the category of complex sentence. Alright, dear children, you will be given a set of practice or how to join the conjunctions. You will go through them, okay, in PDF file, and do prepare for your examination. UT 3rd is approaching, as you know, 23rd of May, and tomorrow or in the next video I will provide you a set of sentences. Okay, you will give them order, you will make them meaningful. All right, and then both the topics need a lot of practice. Do practice at home. All the best. And if you have any problem, you can ask me, and after that we will start UT 3rd syllabus. Alright, children, so do work hard. Those students who join late or those students who got admission late, don't lose your heart. Just see in these days what you learn, or just check your previous knowledge. Means attending or appearing examination is must, so that you can evaluate yourself, isn't it? Okay, how much the previous knowledge you have. So do not run away from the examination. Okay, just do attempt the examination, do hard work, or I try my level best to complete your UT second syllabus, and do learn and do practice. All right, good luck. Thank you. Have a nice day.